From the shadowed peaks of the Salt Lake Valley to the mist-covered banks of the Hudson Valley and all across the globe, the signal drifts through the night. This is Midnight Signals. Now, here are your hosts, Sergeant Shenanigator and Alien Mind.
Sorry.
Read
While
the
we were
comments
coming
too.
on, I was reading Lilith's comment.
So was I. That's pretty good.
That is a perfect start right there.
Yep, they grabbed me off the bridge. How are you doing today, Steve?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Uh-oh. You muted.
I'm muted.
I'm doing all right. Oh, we're lagging again.
No lagging.
Now we're good. Yeah, that lag. Okay. We're good. So you're doing good, eh?
Yeah. Had three visits to the VA this week for routine doctor's appointments.
Everything go good?
They said, even though my wife says I don't have a heart, they said my heart's good, my lungs are good. There is brain activity, and my wife said she disagrees with that one too.
Yeah. I know the feeling.
Everything's good, and then they gave me a new set of hearing aids. So,
oh, perfect. Good to hear.
Of course, my wife would be the first one to laugh at that.
Yeah.
So, how you been?
I've been all right. It's been a fun week. It's been an interesting week with the research. Made me think about a lot of things. Other than that, I haven't really done anything this week. Same old.
The research was very interesting this week.
When did your wife say no heart? Yeah, it was definitely interesting. I went into it with an open mind, and the more I dug into it, the more fun it was, but the more questions that, like, I couldn't get a definitive answer on everything.
Yeah. It seemed like you go into this looking for an answer to a question, you get that answer, and then 7 more questions.
Yep. And I also noticed, even if you got the answer, one of the other questions, the answer to that would contradict the first one. Yeah. Oh, we're already on a roll. I'm loving today already.
So before we begin, Mike and I have talked to a few other podcasters, and to protect ourselves, we're going to start adding disclaimers to our descriptions, and let you know everything we talk about is our opinion and our opinion only, based on public available research.
Yep.
So nothing we come up with is fact at all. But you all know that because we let you make up your own decision.
Yep. Mama Shenanigator.
Mama Shenanigator's here.
Well, hello. It's good to see you again.
It is. Welcome. We're going to have fun today. So, there's we're not going to go into why we decided the disclosure for this one, but for anybody interested, all you've really got to do is do a little research on the players that we're going to talk about, and you'll understand why we're coming up with the disclosure. Nadine's with us.
Well, there she is. Good morning, Nadine. Good to see you here.
So, are you ready to get in? Try that again. You ready to get into the Manhattan Alien Abduction?
I sure am. This is going to be a lot of fun.
I am going to read this.
Okay.
So if you see me looking over this way, I'm just looking at a script. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. All right.
Sounds good.
November 30th, 1989 at 3 a.m. This is either New York City late or New York City early, depending on how you look at it. But this is the kind of late where the city never really sleeps. It just lowers the volume a notch and pretends to relax. This isn't some lonely farmhouse in the Midwest. This isn't a dirt road, a cornfield, or a pickup truck parked under the stars. This is Manhattan. Apartment buildings stacked like concrete canyons, traffic humming in the distance, security guards on duty, the East River moving slowly, silently, like it knows something the rest of us don't. And inside one of those apartments, in the early morning hours, a woman named Linda Napolitano says her life changed forever. Linda wasn't a celebrity. She wasn't a scientist. She wasn't looking for attention, money, or a book deal. She was a regular New Yorker trying to sleep. According to Linda, she woke up to a strange blue light filling her bedroom, a light so intense it didn't just illuminate the room, it dominated it. Before she could react, before she could scream, she felt herself being lifted. Not dragged, not pulled, but actually lifted. Her body rose off the bed toward the window, not crashing through the glass, not shattering anything, but somehow passing through it, as if the rules of reality had quietly stepped outside for a smoke, which in 1989, they would all step out for a smoke. Outside, suspended, and I didn't put this in the script, but she's suspended in air from her 12th floor apartment. So this isn't just 3 feet off the ground. This is 12 feet just off the Brooklyn Bridge. So outside, suspended in the air above Manhattan, Linda said she saw them, small beings, non human, watching her. She describes being taken aboard a craft hovering silently above the city, a city that at the moment was very much awake. Cars were moving, lights were on, people were outside. And here's where the story stops being just another abduction tale and turns into something else entirely. Linda wasn't alone. She claims there were witnesses, multiple witnesses, watching this happen from the ground below. Some of these witnesses were men trained to observe, men trained to stay calm, men who, according to later accounts, were absolutely shaken by what they saw. Linda remembers fragments, cold surfaces, examination, a sense of being studied, not harmed, but not confronted either. Then, just as suddenly as it began, it was over. She found herself back in her apartment, in her bed. The city outside still humming like nothing had happened. No alarms, no broken windows, no screaming headlines the next morning. Just one woman left trying to understand how something so impossible could happen in the most public place imaginable and somehow leave no immediate trace. So that is the basics of Linda's story.
Yep.
I will tell you guys right now, for us, most of the research came from the Netflix documentary miniseries, 3-part miniseries called the Manhattan Alien Abduction. I know Mike's done a little more research and a few podcasts and YouTube channels. I've done a little bit more.
Yep.
So we found some more that go along with it, but a majority of what we got came from that series. So I highly recommend, if you're interested in this, check the series out on Netflix.
Yeah, it was entertaining, that's for sure.
It was entertaining.
I think they did a good job explaining everything in a nutshell about it.
So that's the basic story. In the long run, there was a claim of 23 witnesses to this event. And by the end of this, you'll either think this is the yeah, I can spoke English gooder, I promise.
I sure hope so, or this is going to take a
Wow.
long time.
This is either the biggest proof of alien abductions or the biggest hoax. But that's for you guys to decide,
Or the
not
biggest
for us.
proof that people lie.
So with that, we'll get into the players and how it all started. this is not the first. This is not the first encounter Linda has had with alien beings.
Yeah, see, I don't recall that from. I mean, we were talking about this earlier. I don't recall that from any of the research or from the series.
They, like I said, they mentioned it. It was one line and one line only that she had been going to him before November 30th.
Yeah, and so
It's so weird because you start looking at other channels like ours,
Mhm.
and they're saying now this she reached out to Bud Hopkins, who we'll get to here in a minute. She reached out to him after it happened, but then some are saying no, she was there in the support groups that Bud was doing.
Yeah,
So it's really hard to figure out
yeah.
what's
I
going
think
on.
we've had that issue, I think, with a few of our episodes where it seems so cut and dry when you first get into it, and then just you just more questions arise, and you end up not really knowing for sure what's going on.
So anyway, Linda's first experience with these alien beings happened a few years earlier in the Catskills,
Did
and
did you
her and her
get it?
husband were just out in the Catskills camping.
Did you get a year on when that happened?
I didn't, and that's what really bothers me. Um,
Because I mean, I tried looking it up after I read the outline, and it was mentioned the Catskills because I didn't know about it, and I couldn't find any date on it.
I've heard anywhere from 2 to 3 years earlier to 11 years earlier,
Okay.
and the 11 years earlier kind of is kind of where I'm leaning on this because it mentions just her and her husband camping. And during the Manhattan alien abduction, her son would have been what, 11, 12 years old? So he might not have been born yet. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking it was before they had kids.
No, yeah, it would have had to be his son. The son was 9 in the interview. He was 9.
Yeah. So
So yeah.
I'm assuming it was before they had kids because they never mentioned the kids being taken on this trip to the Catskills.
Okay. Yep. That would make sense then.
Good Harney and Sons tea. Sorry, not a sponsor of the program.
But damn good.
It really is. So anyway, they go out there and they're sitting around and they notice some unusual lights in the sky. And like all alien sightings, it was slow moving. It was hovering at places, was making no noise. And then all of a sudden, Linda feels paralysis taking over her body. And when, yep,
I had a pair. Yeah, Steve, you and I were just actually talking about that.
yeah, we were. So yes, that is quite common. I mean, even the guy you and I believe, Travis Walton, he
Mhm.
hasn't had. I don't think he's had any other visitations, but he said since that abduction, he has seen more craft. He said it's sometimes it's like they're following him.
Mhm.
Excuse me.
It's like they're tagging an animal and keeping track of it.
So anyway, out in the Catskills, she feels the paralysis taking over, and she didn't realize it at the time because the Manhattan abduction hadn't happened yet. But in her paralysis, she noticed that her husband was fast asleep, and they were just up talking. So he's out.
Mhm.
She was. I don't think she was taken aboard an aircraft this time, but she said the flashes of memory from this experience are similar to the Manhattan abduction, but not the experimentation she claims was going on. And that's pretty much all there was. And then all of a sudden, she's back, her husband's awake. The one thing I forgot to mention in the beginning was it was the same thing. Linda, in the series, Linda says that she got out of bed because she forgot to check the windows, and ever since the abduction in the Catskills, she would always check the windows, check behind the drapes, and check the closet. So she realized she didn't do it. She gets up. She starts to feel that paralysis taking over, and she notices that her husband is out. She's screaming at him, hoping that, before the paralysis completely gets her, that he wakes up. He didn't budge.
Nope. I mean, this may be, and I hope it doesn't jump ahead a little bit, but I noticed one thing about her husband in the series. He says he basically had to sit there through all of this. He wasn't able to say or do anything.
Oh, I believe that.
Manhattan dwellers. Yep.
Throw up,
So I just,
the wonderful door lock mechanism they have down there.
yep.
So that's Linda's two stories in a nutshell. And now we can start getting into all the players.
Getting into the exciting part.
Yep. So after the first experience, and this is kind of where the story, I mean, it's kind of gone separate ways already, but it really separates here. Bud Hopkins is an artist, or was an artist, who ended up becoming fascinated with UFOs. And he, from the time he started getting interested in UFOs to the time he passed away in 2011, he wrote 8 books about UFOs 8. And abductions.
Yep.
Some claims say that Bud Hopkins also had support groups that he was hosting in his house.
Yeah, Carol, she brought that up, that when they were together, that there's people that the door was never locked, essentially. Yeah. People just came in and out constantly for these groups.
Yep. So the groups were nonstop, and some reports have Linda going to it before the Manhattan abduction, and some reports say that it happened after the Manhattan abduction. So we don't know really which way that goes. I've watched several interviews from Linda, and she never gets into when they actually met.
Yeah, I didn't find anything out on that either.
In the documentary, it was kind of implied that it was after the abduction that she reached out to Bud, but there's no way of knowing for sure. It was implied. It was never stated.
Yep.
All right. So he's running these support groups. He's an author, and for anybody that was interested in UFOs back in the 80s and 90s, you probably would have seen him, because Bud Hopkins and a lot of the members of his support group were on Geraldo Rivera, on Oprah Winfrey's show. They were on any talk show that would take them. They were on radio programs. And back then, they were pretty much the laughing stock when they were brought on. It breaks my heart, because I know a lot of people actually had these experiences. But back then, if you came in talking about being abducted by aliens, nobody took you serious.
They brought him on just as a joke, a change of pace in the interviews.
Yeah, I mean, I look at Travis Walton and what the the crap he went through until it started becoming more mainstream.
Yeah.
Hi, Jordy.
You could see me yelling, huh?
So, one of the tools Bud used was regression hypnosis.
That's a
I
good.
I am not sure. I didn't even think about that, but I would
Oh,
be willing to bet they knew each other.
yeah. I would bet that too. I don't know. I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, that definitely. So that's Bud Hopkins, and however they met, Bud took Linda serious. Mrs. Shenanigator says hi to Jordy as well.
Sue says hi, Jordy. He says hi.
So Bud Hopkins believed this case was different because this wasn't a Kansas farm 200 miles off the highway. This was in the city that never sleeps. You know, even November 30th, you're right after Thanksgiving, right before Christmas. People are going down to look at Christmas lights, and then they're coming back and having late dinners and coming back across the bridge.
Yeah, there's so many people in that city that
Yeah,
it just. Yeah.
I can't remember. I know I looked it up.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Whitley lived in Manhattan and also encountered aliens allegedly in the. Oh, that's right.
yep, just up the road from us.
Hmm.
Um,
I'm gonna look into that more.
it would be interesting because regardless of what you believe at the end of this, Bud Hopkins, like Whitley Strieber, was a good storyteller. I mean, that was his job. He was an author. He got away from art, moved into being an author and a UFO investigator, and he told some great stories. So, but he believed that this case was different because this was Manhattan. If he could prove that this actually happened, it would blow the lid off of UFOs across the world. I mean, it wouldn't be the laughing stock on the Oprah Winfrey show anymore. It would be on every news channel. And Linda was making the rounds on the news programs. She was on she was on all the local stations. She was in newspapers, magazines. She had hundreds of articles written about her that appeared on radio shows, TV programs. And so Bud really wanted this one as his breakthrough. We are now going to prove to the world that aliens exist moment. So that's what I've got on Bud Hopkins so far.
Yep. That's all I really saw about him on this event as well. Okay, witnesses. So what did I think at least one person claimed they saw her floating outside her building. So everywhere that I've seen, there was what they say 23. Is that how
23.
many it was?
Yep,
23
23 was.
witnesses. Now, I'm sure we'll get into it in more detail, but like you said, the time of year it was, the city that never sleeps, the amount of people that are there, people driving back and forth to different things, you would think there'd be more than 23 that saw
Oh yeah.
this
There,
bright blue light.
this is right off the Brooklyn Bridge. anybody
The
coming into
Brooklyn
the
Bridge,
city would have seen this bright blue light
yeah.
carrying this woman.
You
The witnesses all basically said that originally they thought they were filming a movie out there because the light was so bright.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm having computer issues here for some reason.
Okay. So the link I sent, Lilith, that may answer your question a bit about Bud Hopkins and Whitley Strieber. It's about how they met and how they knew each other.
This is the dumbest thing in the world. My
What,
screen is blacked out.
like the whole screen?
Oh, got it. Just fixed it.
Oh,
No, I went to read that link that you sent.
that's actually a really good idea, or a good idea.
A good point.
Yeah, good point. Man, I was losing it there for a second. Holy crap. I mean, that's every time that I've been to New York, I don't really look straight ahead. My eyes are glued to the sky looking at all the buildings and how tall they are, things like that.
Yeah,
But
but I think on this one,
it
even New Yorkers would look up because the witnesses said this was as bright as a searchlight.
right. And
That
think about it. When you look at the Brooklyn Bridge and where the picture you showed me earlier, where it crosses with FDR, and you can see her building in the background, she's on the 12th floor. So how high the bridge is compared to how high, it'd be almost like a straight shot right across
yeah, and
from the
and the
from the bridge.
witnesses weren't saying it was hundreds of feet above the Brooklyn Bridge. They were saying this craft was just above the Brooklyn Bridge,
Yeah.
where they could see the underside of the craft. So I don't know. Yes, you were warned the first time.
Yeah. And it didn't stop me. First time there, of course I'm gonna be glued to the sky.
So one of the tools that Bud Hopkins used on most of the people in his support group was the regression hypnotherapy. You know, his ex-wife, they were married at the time, but his ex-wife actually started videotaping all of the therapy sessions.
And yeah, that would be Carol Rainey.
Carol Rainey. So that's our next contestant in this lineup. So Carol would record everything because she came into the marriage as a filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I didn't do a lot of research on her to see if she actually did major films or anything like that.
I
I
don't.
decided
I
more like she was a documentary
That's what
filmmaker
I got.
like me. You go out, you film something for 20 minutes, and then throw it on YouTube, even though they didn't have YouTube back then.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I got. I gathered from it.
All right. So there are some of those therapy sessions that you can find on YouTube. And that's going to be pretty prominent here shortly when we start going one way or the other on our opinions. All right. So Bud Hopkins, you know about him now. 23 witnesses to the event. Two of them, well, three of them are two of them are cops. And
Richard
this is
and
kind
Dan.
of where it gets really strange.
Yes, this.
Their names are Richard and Dan. There was never any chance to speak to them because Richard and Dan were only sending letters to Bud Hopkins. And the reason they did this is because that's
Hmm,
exactly what people were describing it as. And at 3
yeah,
a.m, they're seeing this coming through their window.
yeah. That it was they were filming something or interesting.
As a matter of fact, Janet, one of the witnesses, I don't know last names, she lived in the building next to Linda, and she looked at her window and saw the light. And she thought, "Oh wow, they're shooting a movie out there." And then she saw the craft above the bridge, and she's like, "Huh, cool, they're shooting a sci-fi movie out there." And then it dawned on her that that craft is slowly moving, and there's nothing holding it up, no cranes, nothing. That's when she started thinking that there's something else going on. And then she saw the light coming out from the bottom of the ship and this being brought up into the ship, floating, above a. I think her building was a taller building. We'll show that here in a couple seconds. And her building was about, I don't know, 20, 25 stories. And she was above that. So that's Janet's story. Back to Richard and Dan. Richard and Dan are originally claimed to be detectives. Oh, I'm sorry, they started out as police officers, and then they claimed to be detectives, and then they admitted to being security for a high-ranking VIP, is all they would say.
Yep.
And throughout the interviews, throughout the letters that Bud Hopkins was that they were sending to Bud Hopkins, it eventually kind of led Bud to believe that they were the bodyguards for the UN Secretary General at the time. And I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name because.
Is that the Perez de Chiaro or Chiaro, whatever? Yeah.
Yes, I butcher it so bad myself.
Oh yeah.
But they're supposedly his bodyguards. So that rumor starts floating around, and it got so bad that eventually, after he'd retired as UN Secretary General, he was interviewed and flat out said, "I wasn't there. That was not me." But Richard and Dan are still saying it was a high-ranking VIP from the United Nations.
That's what's got me about it is throughout all the research I've done and us talking about it quite extensively, it's who are these? Who is it? You never got a just direct answer. It was first a person for this company or a person from that organization or these people doing this, or you never knew who it was.
So it just gets stranger and stranger. So we're going to go on that it was possibly the UN Secretary General and his bodyguards who at 3 a.m. on November 30th are parked right here.
I laugh every time I see this picture because what would a UN ambassador, I'll say, be doing right there at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
UN ambassador or UN VIP.
Yeah.
What are you doing here at 3 a.m?
I mean, I know those, high officials, they travel at all different hours to different places. But to just be parked sitting there?
Yeah.
No, there's no reason for that.
And for anybody interested, this building here, I don't know if you can see my cursor. This would be where Linda's apartment was. Janet, right there on the witness, was in this building. Well, I'm not 100% on Manhattan streets, but I believe this is 178th Street. Mm-hmm. The blue beam directly above us are the FDR, and then way over here, that's the bottom of the Brooklyn Bridge. I have looked all around in this area. It is all parking.
Ending an illicit rendezvous. Yep. Yeah, there's
I thought that too originally, but if you are the UN Secretary General, would you really be down here where I mean if you're in a car that's idling, there is no buildings around here
yeah.
that you could go to. So whatever the illicit rendezvous would be in the back seat with your two
Mhm.
bodyguards sitting up front. I don't know. To me, I mean, is it possible? Yeah.
Yeah. But
Uh,
I think as we get farther into the story, it will become evident.
yeah. I'm trying my best to stay neutral right now.
Yes.
Uh, so the other witness was coming into Manhattan on the Brooklyn Bridge, and she's driving underneath the craft, and she sees the body floating up diagonally towards the craft. And in true New York fashion, just continues driving. She makes a
Mm.
mental note and continues driving. Huh, that was weird. Well, I got to get home.
Yep.
Other witnesses were what you'd expect: delivery drivers, truck drivers, people going into work a little bit early. But in a city of, I don't know, a couple million, to only have 23 witnesses to this, that kind of seems unusual,
It
especially
does.
in a holiday time.
Yeah. I mean, it does. And then also the thing that kind of gets to me or makes me think more about it is you don't really get names really of witnesses. None of them are interviewed publicly. None of them really came forward. And I mean, if you watch the news, you see so many people that just want their 15 minutes of fame, tell people they're on the news, and they'll do anything to tell people what they saw, where they were at, what they did, things like that.
Yeah.
So it it's interesting to me that that didn't happen.
I mean, I see Lilith's point of view, and I mean, you New Yorkers really don't look up.
Yeah.
But with the witness descriptions, I got a feeling a few more would have.
Hmm.
But I'm still taking her at her word. This is what happened. This is what the witnesses are reporting.
Yep.
Uh, Later on, she agreed to do the regressive hypnotherapy with Mr. Hopkins, and it's weird because he's a UFO investigator who taught himself regressive hypnotherapy. He he didn't go to school for it. It's just something he started to do.
Yep.
As far as I can tell, I
Yeah.
he may
I
have gone to
never.
school.
Yeah. I didn't see anything other than he just knew how to do it.
Yeah. So she agrees, and that's when the more information starts coming out about the examinations being on the table, uh, being poked and prodded. And after one of these therapy sessions, she was with her friend Carol, and she noticed a bump on her nose. No, she was with her husband. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So they had finished up,
Pete.
and she noticed a bump on her nose.
Yep.
So she goes and gets it checked out. Um, Unfortunately, I really can't pull the picture up because it is copyrighted.
Oh, is it? I was just getting ready to do
Yeah.
that. So okay.
But in the X-ray, if for anybody that watches the series, the
You'll see
X-ray
it.
in there,
It's first
they
episode.
find a metallic coil in her nose, and she's never had surgery. She's never broken her nose that she can remember. And she's really panicking because it looks like her nose is crooked and there's a large bump. So her husband convinces her to go have it removed. This isn't in the series. We'll get to what was in the series here in a second. Some of the interviews that I listened to from Linda, she went back in to have the surgery. They took an X-ray to, verify that it was there, and it's gone. Mike, do you want to say what was in the series?
So I honestly didn't know about that part until our pre-game conversation. But in the series, there's an interview with, or a section where Bud's talking to somebody on the phone, which would be the doctor, and he asks her, would you be willing to sign an affidavit saying what you saw and what you did? And she said, yes, 100%. I went in, did the X-ray, and I removed it. So she went to the doctor, got the X-ray, went back. The doctor took it out, and then then it kind of goes into the rest of the series, and then that's when you told me that no, she went back in and there was nothing there. So what happened? Where did it go? Who took it out?
Good question. So I had to start doing some research on regression hypnotherapy because this started fascinating me. Like I know what it is. I know you can do past life regression. I know that regression hypnosis for abductees is quite common. But during my research, what I also found out is the hypnotist can actually plant a false memory. And that shocked me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
almost
I'm not saying Bud did that. I'm just saying
it's possible.
It can happen.
Yeah, it's just like to me, like when you see people like, I don't know if David Blaine does it, but like that a mentalist that says, okay, you're hypnotized, walk around like a cat, and the people do it. They think they're a cat. So you can implant those ideas.
So I went and I read an article done by by three doctors actually, from over the United Kingdom. And they said that not only can a false memory be placed through regression hypnotherapy, but it can create more vivid dreams than an actual event.
Mm-hmm.
You will start to build on this memory because it's in there, and your brain's like, well, we're missing bits and pieces, so your brain starts to put things together to fit this memory. Again, I'm not saying that Bud Hopkins did this, but it just got very interesting with what's about to come down the pike. So there's also from early 1980s to today, there are big controversies in the medical field about memory recovery versus memory creation. And it's fascinating that you could actually go to a hypnotherapist and have this individual plant a memory in your brain. Oh, look at you.
Yeah, there you go.
Have a therapist plant a memory in your brain and bring it up through this regressive therapy, and all of a sudden you have a brand new memory that never actually occurred to you.
but
You never,
you think it's real.
yeah, you know. So
I
that
mean,
kind of fascinated me. I don't know why I went down that rabbit hole during this whole thing.
Lilith's comment just now is
Yeah,
100% accurate. The human mind can just do fascinating things. I mean, like you were just saying, the fact that a memory can be implanted in your mind and your brain knows that things aren't accurate and so it or finished, so to speak, and so it creates the rest of it for you.
so now we're going to get into Carol, Bud's wife at the time, now ex-wife. They were married from 1996 to 2006.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she started, according to the documentary, she started spotting strange things that Bud was doing during these therapy sessions. She didn't come right out and say planting false memories, but she said he was asking very leading questions to get the answers he wanted, ignoring answers that didn't fit what he was looking for.
Mm-hmm. I I think the thing that stood out the most to me with that was when she said that she had filmed and watched him do this so many times, and she everybody that was truly under hypnosis, they talked and acted in a certain way. But
Yep.
she pointed out that it seemed like Linda wasn't under hypnosis, and that kind of led into what you were just saying, that she doesn't say he came right out and would lead them into certain things, but you could tell he was ignoring things or asking it in a
And
certain way.
I can't remember for sure. So again, my old brain that the doc says is working at about 8% capacity. I swear that Carol said that during her hypnotherapy sessions, it was like she was not under and it was scripted.
Yes, exactly. And so that would could possibly lead one person, someone, to believe that it was not real, that it didn't work, you know, a lot of different things.
Yeah. So um, I don't. This is this is one of those weird things because there is no definitive debunking,
Mm-mm.
but there's also no definitive proof.
Yeah, I mean, you see the film, what they would play in the documentary, but you're only seeing parts of it, so you can't really get a definitive answer on it.
So I started. That's when I started going and watching YouTube videos from other creators and YouTube videos of actual interviews,
Mm-hmm.
that are posted online from Linda and other people. And even today, people are split 50-50 on this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so to me, it's really difficult to say. Let me rephrase that. Based on the actual story, not the actors, it would be difficult for me to say this happened or this didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Based on the actors, on Bud Hopkins, on Linda, and on Carol, and how they treated each other in this documentary.
Yeah.
The only problem is I don't know. I don't know who the con artist is.
Okay. So since you said that, yes, if you based just on the series, if you look at everything from Bud's perspective, you would think he's lying. From
Yeah,
Carol's, you think it's her. From Linda's, you would think it's her.
yeah. It's
But someone is.
someone definitely is. I'm not bringing the sun up because that opens a whole another
Oh,
little rabbit hole.
oh, I thought we were going to. I wanted to
Oh,
bring him up.
you want to bring it up? Bring it up.
Well, because you brought him up at the beginning with before he was born
That's
and
true. Yeah.
the Catskills. So you actually brought up a really good point that I didn't even think about. In the series, they interview Johnny when he was 9 years old, and everything he says sounds scripted. Now, again, he 9 years old, he could be nervous when they were doing that, and he told a story but didn't know how to say it, so they gave him pretty much cue cards on
Yeah.
what to say. So that could be the case for that. But towards the end of the series, you see Johnny come onto the screen, but he wants to be completely blacked out. He doesn't want, I mean, he asks, he says, "Are you sure that my face is blurred out? Nobody can see me. I'm completely shadow." And they go, "Yeah." Well, when anybody hides behind like that, they usually alter the voice and alter the name.
Yeah.
But yet he used, "Hey, my name's Johnny Napolitano."
Napolitano. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, okay, well, we already know who you are. So why are you covering your face?
You're Linda's son.
Yeah.
You've been all over the news since you were 9 years old.
Yeah. So why are you so worried about? I mean, so that could be that he's lying as well. And I just,
Yeah.
that kind of right there discredited it for me with him.
I I wasn't going to bring this up, but I'm going to. The kidnapping of Linda.
Hmm.
All right. Richard and Dan supposedly kidnapped Linda to silence her.
Yeah.
Linda said that she was in fear for her life, so she borrowed a gun from a friend. And when she was kidnapped, she threatened to shoot the private parts of the police officer, detective, or security
Bodyguard.
detachment,
Yeah.
or the whatever their jobs were. She threatened to shoot their private parts off.
Well, they would have guns. I mean, that's their job, is to protect people by any means necessary. So you would think they'd have some kind of weapon. And
And NYPD in the 80s, if they were NYPD, I'm sure that they've been in a tussle or two.
yep. And
Detective, they started out as patrol, so again, they would be in a tussle or two. And protective service for the United Nations, their whole job is to get VIPs through protests.
yeah.
They've been pushed around a couple of times too. And Linda threatens to shoot him, so they stop the car and let her out.
Yeah, I don't buy it at all. Um so the I'll go on to the next thing then, and I didn't know if I was going to bring this up or not. Was the you watched the show, you said 3 times, and you completely missed it.
I
So
did.
and that's why I thought when you were texting me and saying no, I thought I was going crazy. Like, okay, did I just hear something that didn't really, happen? So Carol, she had a feeling, like a little inkling, that Linda was Richard and Dan, that she was the one signing and writing all the letters to Bud as Richard and Dan. And so Carol took in handwriting from Linda to a forensic analyst or examiner. And the first thing they noticed was the way Linda wrote her H was the same way that it was signed. One of the H's were in the letters. So then they took the signature of that Perez de whatever Cayaro, I am slaughtering the name, that he was supposedly there, and the signature, the way Linda wrote, was 100% exact as what was written on the letters.
Mm-hmm.
And the examiner doesn't come, from what I saw, he does not come out and say, yes, it was Linda. All he says is, with whoever wrote this, they are the ones that wrote this. It is exact same person.
And by
Carol,
exact, I mean exact. And I had to actually, after we talked about it, I had to do it. I signed my name 12 or 13 times.
yeah, you never write it the same.
You cannot make it 100% exact each and every
No,
time.
I've tried. It does not work. And Carol comes out and says, the evidence says Linda wrote those letters.
So I'm going to break this down for what I believe.
Okay.
Richard and Dan, they don't exist. I don't care what your job is, at 3 a.m. with a high-ranking VIP, regardless of who that VIP is, you're not parked underneath two bridges at 3 in the morning. You know, you want to make sure whoever's in that vehicle doesn't get spotted by the police, doesn't get spotted by the press.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if you brought this up earlier. Sorry to interrupt, but the UN official, whoever that guy was, didn't they ask him? They say, "Hey, you were here," and he says, "I wasn't there at all. I was here doing this." And Richard and Dan
still denying it.
Yeah. So if the actual person himself is saying, no, I really wasn't there, and proves that he was somewhere else, that go on.
This isn't the president of the United States, but this is a well-known figure in the United Nations. Mm-hmm. Whether it's a VIP, the Secretary General, it's a well-known person.
Yeah.
Their security detachment in no way, shape, or form would let them go and park under a bridge.
Yeah, I don't.
That's like Bill Clinton saying, "I want to go to the Amtrak station and go hang out on near one of the tracks and just hang out."
Yeah,
no.
I mean, if you go back a little bit, Colin, it's good to see you.
Hey.
If you go back in the story a little bit, where Linda and I think Mama Shenanigator and a couple others were saying, yeah, you know, people, sorry, they do illicit things, or, you know, there could be a flat tire, or, you know, there could be a myriad of reasons why somebody would be parked where they're at a certain time. But when you put all the evidence together from the stories and documentaries, it doesn't compute. It doesn't work to me. No. Because they would, if they were broke down, they would say, yeah, they were broke down, and that's why they saw it. So,
and there are stories. It kind of goes two different ways again. One story is that they were parked down there. Mm-hmm. Doing what? Nobody ever says. The other story is they were driving through there, and this is more believable, and their car just died. And, you know, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yep.
Car dies, the UFO. But why didn't all the cars on the other bridge die?
Yeah.
Why was it just that one car? So I rule Richard and Dan out right away. Especially since the only proof there was the letters sent, that the handwriting now matches. According to the handwriting analysis, the handwriting matches Carol's. Or I'm sorry,
Linda's. Yeah. You know, when I first went into it and watched the evidence, or watched the interview of Carol at the beginning, I thought, oh man, there is so much hatred in this woman for Linda. You know, but then as the interviews and the series goes on, it was almost like they were friends too. There's a part of me that thought they were friends.
Yeah.
And, you know, then she does mention that, I think it was in the third and final episode, she says something to the effect, because on the screen they're showing Linda and Bud having like dinner together, just them two. Somebody's obviously recording, but it shows them. And she says, my marriage was, I was basically unhappy. It was in a shambles. I couldn't confront him about this because it wouldn't turn out well. But I also couldn't sit back and just not say anything and be miserable. So I think she thought maybe there was something going on between those two.
That was my thought as well.
Yeah.
No, there's no proof whatsoever.
No. But it's the thought, it's like, okay, well, anything is a possibility.
I'm going to play the opposite of you and say this is Bud Hopkins' big breakout moment.
Mm-hmm.
He's hanging out with Linda a lot more than Carol because they're planning strategies on the next talk shows.
Right.
That's a possibility.
Very well could be. Yes.
But no matter what, the from what I gathered in the documentary, the marriage started falling apart when Carol started realizing that Bud was starting to lead people.
Yeah.
So that's where she went from, hey, I've been a believer with you this whole time to, do I believe you now?
Yeah.
And then I'm sure the marriage starts getting rocky. She sees her husband with Linda a lot more, even if nothing's going on. That's got to start playing in your mind.
Exactly. I don't know. It just there's something up. I'm pretty much in the same boat as you. I 100% think it's a hoax. Just downright, it is. I don't think it happened at all. There are
Now,
too many inconsistencies.
I know we were different at the beginning. I came into this believing it was a hoax to begin with.
I always, not always, but the majority of the time, I'll hear a story and I'll go in thinking, okay, yes, this could have happened. This is a possibility, and I'll believe in it. But then you start seeing the evidence and you're like, okay, well, no, that doesn't add up with this. And I thought, honestly, I was like, wow, damn. Yeah, I could believe this 100%. And then you start putting all the facts together and the inconsistencies, and nope, I can't.
It's like we've talked about before with the paranormal. If you prove one tiny little detail is a fraud, the whole thing's shot. You don't know what to believe anymore.
Yep. And with that being said, I had it seemed like there was something between Bud and Linda, but it's not necessarily romantic. I think it'd be more like a shared need to believe in this. Very true.
Yeah.
I had Bud's, all of his books. I had them on my Amazon wish list. I was going to buy all of them. I kept glancing over them for other books, but I was going to buy them all.
Mm-hmm.
And after this, it's completely changed my opinion. I don't want to read them because now it's, how do I know that what he's saying in the books is stuff that he really experienced, or whether it's stuff that he just made up?
Now, here's what really bothers me about this whole thing is, like Travis Walton, if Linda has stuck to the main portion of the story, she is stuck to that.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the other details surrounding it that start to get a little murky, in my opinion.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Had she just stuck with the story and left it at that, and not brought in Dan and Richard, and
yeah, and see, that's what, like I was saying earlier, doesn't really add up to me, because how many times on the news have you seen somebody that they're so excited to tell their story about what they saw and what happened and where they were at and what they did, and they try to just to get their quote unquote 15 minutes of fame, just to say they were on the news, or that they were involved in a way with something, or they witnessed something very major. And none of them None of them come forward. No,
Yeah.
no one wants to be publicly interviewed. No, how convenient that no one wants to be interviewed publicly about it.
So
Well,
we've got a couple people who are posting their
I mean,
opinions. What do you guys think? I'm going to bring up one final thing before we close out, but I want to hear what you guys have to think. So Nadine's not a believer.
No.
Colin only takes one small thing to sour the well. Totally agree.
Yep. I've had that. I think I know which last thing you're going to talk about, but I could be wrong. But yes, everybody write in what they think.
So, but breaking the whole story down, had she stuck with just the basic story, I would have probably believed it. The witnesses, it's hard to believe because when Bud did start to reach out to them, they were in the shower or they were at work. Could you call back in an hour? He never got to actually interview them. It was all messages and, not messages like we know, but it was letters and he got a couple messages on his machine, but he never got
like a
to
sit down.
actually sit down and interview him. And too many questionable details.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm going to talk about here in just a second.
Well, I thought you were going to talk about the Netflix part of it.
No, but while we're waiting, you can go ahead and talk about the Netflix part.
You might be able to go into a little more detail than me, but basically everything I saw was initially we thought it was Netflix had made a movie about it and Linda sued them for defamation. And then come to find out it was, I think you said this series.
That's my understanding.
That it was this series and she goes after, you said everybody
she was suing for defamation.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't told Carol was going to be on it.
Yeah. But why does she go after the Hopkins estate and after Netflix, but not Carol, the one she's mad at?
Yeah.
The one who's supposedly doing the defamation of character. You would think she would go after her because she's at least from everything I've seen, people, they go after whoever was the one doing the talking.
If I'm making up stories about you and you come after me for defamation of character, you're not going to sue my next door neighbor.
No.
Coming after me.
No, even if your next door neighbor was right there, he not saying a word, it wasn't that person that was saying it. And so I don't think there's evidence, but we kind of did talk about this a little bit, that of course there is the possibility that Linda and Carol were in it together and let's see if we can.
That's my conspiracy theory tinfoil hat.
Yep.
Are they pulling a long con? But opinion.
No, yeah, just our opinions. I still stand 100% with, and I know with what Lilith said, New Yorkers don't look up, but you look at how high her building is versus how high the bridge was, and the fact that supposedly certain amount of people, I think more people would have saw it, and more people would have wanted to come forward and say, look, this is what I saw. This is what happened. I don't care if you know who I am. This is what I saw.
For example, the Hudson Valley alien invasion. There were hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of phone calls.
Yeah.
I mean, doctors and lawyers and police officers and paramedics and firefighters and blue collar workers, white collar workers.
You would have had at least the 911 calls. Wondering what the hell.
My boss was a witness to one of those.
Yeah.
So it
just, to me, my opinion, I think they came up with a story, and that's all it was just a story. Because I mean, when you go back across the details, the
Uh-oh, feeding
doctor,
going down the road.
whoa, the doctor that said she took it out and was willing to sign an affidavit on a phone call with Bud said she would do it, and then all of a sudden she's not the one that did it. It just magically disappeared.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if it did disappear, because I believe alien abductions happen. I believe people have been implanted with stuff. I may be weird, but I believe that. And things can be removed. Yes. But why would the doctor say she removed it if she really didn't do it?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you look at the I'll just say official, because I am still uncertain on who it really was. But he says, look, I wasn't even there. So I don't know what you guys are talking about. I was over here doing this. And there's just way too many inconsistency.
Yep. So like I said, I came into this a non-believer, and I'm leaving more of a non-believer.
And I'm the opposite.
And
I was a believer.
when we decided to call the audible and switch over to this, I was really hoping that something would change my mind.
Yeah.
I really was.
I had seen on Netflix, just because I'm always watching UFO stuff, that this documentary was on there. Never watched it. And when you said that, I thought, okay, great. Now I get a chance to watch that. And I try, and a lot of people go into everything being a skeptic because they want to be proven right. And that's when it comes to paranormal stuff, that's how I am. When it comes to UFO stuff, I generally go in as a believer saying, okay, this person's saying this, I'm going to believe them until proven otherwise. And
all right. So to bring up Mama Shenanigator and the questionable details, I'm going to bring this up. It didn't make the documentary, but Carol did actually research Linda's story and compare it to
oh shit, I forgot about this.
this book right here,
Yes.
Night Eyes.
Okay. March 1st of 1989. Now, when did Carol's thing happen? Or I mean, Linda's thing.
So, November 30th, 1989.
Okay.
And
Continue.
this is searching for their missing 16-year-old daughter and uncover horrifying evidence of UFO abductions. The reason she started comparing it is she had read this book when she was with Bud, because they were reading all UFO books. And she started noticing that Linda's story was matching certain aspects of the book. And when she finished checking it out, 16 different things that are in the book are in Linda's story. And she said, I know for a fact Linda has that book.
So she's taking parts of the book and transforming it into her reality.
Yep. So why do you think people make up stuff?
Attention.
Yeah, it's attention.
One of the ways they compensate. Yeah, I can definitely see that, Colin. That's how. I mean, that was at the height of Whitley Strieber, Bud Hopkins, his UFO support groups, and people wanted to be known for something. And okay, here's another point that I didn't think of until now. They had 2 kids.
Yeah.
Where was the other kid? 2 boys, I believe. Where was the other son in all this?
He never wanted. He was too young during the incident, and he did not want to be part of the Netflix documentary.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see anything
to do with it.
So now I don't know for certain. All I know is what you just told me, and that they had 2 kids. If he doesn't want to be a part of it, I mean, there's a whole bunch of reasons why someone wouldn't, but from my perspective, I think he knows his mom's full of shit,
Could be.
and just doesn't want to have anything to do with that. Now, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's where I think humans have an amazing capacity to believe in their own stories. It's the storytelling that interests me always. Yes,
Yes, I
100%.
storytelling. I love the storytelling.
Yeah. And that's why, like Steve, I told you numerous times, I am so excited to do this episode. And I already, after researching everything, I already knew what I believed within the first day of researching it. But I was still excited to do it because the story itself is a good story.
Yeah. Oh, come on. What was it? Give me time. Give me time. I'll get it. I get it. Witnessed. The book Witnessed is the true story of the Brooklyn Bridge UFO abductions, and it sold quite a few copies. I mean, it's still a popular book today on Amazon.
That's the Bud Hopkins one,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that was the main one I was going to buy, and kept just glancing over it, and it just, like Colin said, it just takes one thing to sour the well, and it would make it really hard for me now to read any of his stuff. I would just be irritated knowing that there's that possibility that he was asking leading questions just to get the answers he wanted and glancing over answers that didn't fit his narrative. That sounds like a con artist to me.
Colin, I try to believe that story every single day.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
Well,
I missed one up here. I missed one from Lilith.
have you ever listened to the grown-up Lutz kid who lived at the Amityville house? He is convinced and convincing regarding. I know who that is, Lilith, but I've never listened to it.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
But I think that goes along with the regression therapy. If growing up you have that memory put in your mind over and over, it can end up just being a false memory. But yeah, I'm gonna check it out. That sounds really good.
Yep. Hey, real quick, what who was the author of that book that you just put up that she has that Carol Newland
Night Eyes.
What is it called?
Night Eyes.
I'm trying to find it on to see if it comes up on Kindle, but I think I might either be typing it in wrong or it's not on there.
Night Eyes. Night Eyes is one word.
Okay, who's the author?
Garfield Reeves Stevens.
Carter Field?
Garfield, as in James Garfield.
Oh, okay, Garfield Reeves. Okay, I got it. Let's see if it. Huh. He writes a lot of Star Trek stuff.
Yep.
But I don't see it on Netflix or on Kindle. So I'll have to.
I don't see it on Kindle. I don't see it. It looks like it's hardcover or paperback.
Okay, I'll have to order it then.
So.
Yep. Whole documentary
around him. I'll be looking that up then.
Yeah, I'm gonna Lutz Amityville house. Okay, Lutz Amityville house documentary. Spine chilling, the real Amityville, an origin story. Clearly, this documentary exposes what a gold mine George Lutz found in a normal house with a terrible history. So it's called Amityville, an origin story.
Got it. Is that it? Because I've got one that's My Amityville Horror.
I saw that one too.
On Netflix. featuring Daniel Lutz, one of the children.
Okay, I've got two. I got on IMDb, it says Amityville, an origin story TV miniseries from 23, and that's with George Lutz. And then below that, I've got My Amityville Horror for the first time in 35 years. Child eyewitness Daniel Lutz recounts his version of the infamous Amityville haunting that terrified his family in 1975.
Yep, I'll be checking both of them out then.
Yep. Daniel Lutz, that's the one.
That's the one.
Okay.
So My Amityville Horror.
Yep. I'll definitely check that out too.
So,
that's all I had for it. I don't know what else to say about it other than I think it was just a fabulous hoax.
I think it was an incredible story.
Yes.
That somewhere along the lines derailed.
Mm-hmm.
I do recommend watching the documentary if you're even a little bit interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can walk away with fuzzy brains like us going, who really was in the wrong here?
Yeah, I would love to know, because it doesn't matter whose eyes you're looking through. Somebody was lying about something in that.
Yeah.
And just one lie can throw a whole thing off. So
I mean, I could take the position of each one of them and prove that the other two are lying and go around in a circle.
Never ending.
Yeah. It is a good, what is it, 45 minutes an episode?
Yeah, it's about 45 minutes an episode.
And you will see some serious hatred between two women who were actually friends at one point.
Yep. I mean, pretty much the very first lines in that were Carol flat out saying, "The bitch is lying."
Yeah. What was the last one? Don't come for my family.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of
hate. It's an interesting series.
Mm-hmm.
But I guarantee at the end of it, if you don't believe in the Manhattan Alien Abduction, by the end of that series, you're going to believe less in it.
Yep.
If you believe in it, I don't recommend watching this show.
Yeah. And everybody's, I like how we've said before, we present the information that we have, we'll give our opinions on it, and everybody needs to make up their own damn mind. And I mean, that's to each their own.
So anyway, that's our Manhattan Alien non-abduction.
I was drinking.
As soon as I started saying that, I was like, please don't choke. Please don't choke.
Oh, that was good.
So, Alien Mike, what do we got going on next week?
Let me look here. I know I brought it up a minute ago. Well, an hour and a half ago. Now Lilith's laughing at me, damn near choking to death. The Manhattan Alien non-abduction. Government declassifying UFOs is what I have written down on the calendar. So I've got a bunch of pictures around the room. Like I think it was 23 and 24 when was it the Supreme Court, or they had some big 2 conventions or something like, I don't know how you meetings that David Grush
Senate subcommittee meetings.
Yeah, subcommittee meetings where David Grush and there was a few other people. I think Lou Elizondo was a part of it on the second one, because they did 2 of them. And where they are talking about the Nimitz and declassifying everything.
Thank you very much. It's always a fun way to end the week with you guys.
Yep, I look forward to talking to everybody each week, so, each episode.
I know next week we're going to get into the government starting to come around.
Yeah, and
they have been for a few years now. I think going back to 2017, something like that.
Yeah, 2017 is when the first time, I believe it was David Grush and a few others, really started to push the envelope to get them to admit that there is something.
So we're not
So
going to get too political on it, but
no,
we'll bring up some things that are leading to where we are today.
yeah,
Where all of a sudden Congress is like, Three Eye Atlas is a mothership coming to destroy us all. Okay,
that's
maybe not that far.
it's funny that you brought that up because I talked to somebody the other day and the text message basically went, I've got a weird question. We were seeing Three Eye Atlas in the news or in reports all the time. All of a sudden, nothing. Like you don't see anything about it anymore. And
Not on my YouTube algorithm. I'm still seeing a ton of it.
I'm not seeing any of it anywhere. And I know like the Angry Astronaut YouTube and Avi Loeb just didn't. He created his own YouTube because there's fakes out there, so it's still being talked about. I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah,
It's not as
I'm seeing. I know you guys were kind of more on the scientific side. I was more on the alien mothership side, so that's why my algorithm's all screwed up.
yeah,
I'm seeing things like Three Eye Atlas is currently hiding behind Jupiter, and NASA
yeah,
is lying to us on the path, and they're about ready to launch a big attack.
yeah. See, I don't know why. I mean, oh, first of all, great stream as always, lads. I'll catch up on the beginning later. Remember to hit the like button,
Oh,
folks. Big tribute to the gods of the algorithm. Colin,
I'm
thank you
going to
so
start
much.
putting that in our outline.
Yeah,
Yeah, please make sure you hit the like and the subscribe, and
leave a
again,
comment on the
I'm
video.
sure most of you have already been there, but for those who haven't, go check out the Horrific podcast.
Yep.
Uh,
I showed Jordy the one with Dana DiLorenzo, the interview or the happy birthday message that she did for Colin's birthday, and Jordy got so excited. Oh my god! Oh my god! It's Kelly from Ash versus Evil Dead. She absolutely loves it, or he absolutely loves it.
so yeah, make sure you check him out. Colin puts on a really good show.
Yep.
I really got to clear my calendar one time so I can sit back down and watch it on the big screen and chat
Yep.
on my phone. I have a good time every time I'm there.
Let's see,
Uh,
Nadine. I've seen a bit. My algorithm must be messed up again, Nadine. I don't know what it is, but
but
I swear on everything.
I think it's because you were following the more of the scientific side with Avi.
Yeah.
I'm following the Battlestar Galactica. The Klingons are coming, and the
See,
Cylons.
I've watched both, but I stuck mainly to the scientific aspect of
Yeah.
it. But it was just weird. I all of a sudden it disappeared. Like there's nothing. Dana was a star trying to convince her to come on sometime. If you can get Dana on, that would be the most amazing thing. She is.
Ah,
I mean, I'm a huge Bruce Campbell fan, like huge Bruce Campbell
the
fan,
chin.
and Dana was probably my favorite character in that series. But yeah, I'm
You're welcome, Colin. And I love watching those posts where your numbers keep growing and growing. That is amazing.
yeah. I when I played that episode for Jordy like 2 days ago, I was surprised, like shocked, I guess is the word, that you're over 2,000 subscribers now, like well over 2,000.
I
I
want to say the last number I saw was 2102. But
yeah, that's
I've got
awesome.
so much in my brain right now. I could be thinking of the year I'm going to pass away, 100.
Yep.
The next little century coming up.
But yeah, so for next week we'll do the government declassifying UFOs, and I'm not
And
sure
we'll have
how.
fun with it. Yeah, we'll have
Yeah,
fun with it.
I don't know how we'll approach it. I think I'll probably approach it from the subcommittee meeting they had.
Yeah,
So
I'll probably get into where I forgot his name.
Elizondo.
Yeah, I know you'll follow it up to him. I'll probably follow it to where Travis Taylor took over and it started becoming more public.
Oh yeah, when he. Oh yep. When after Elizondo stepped away. Yep.
Yep. But we'll still have fun with it.
Yep.
We'll kind of
It'll be
talk
good.
about the UFOs that they're discussing in the committee meeting as well.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be all just government stuff.
No. It'll be fun.
With that, Mike, you got anything else?
Thanks everybody for being here. We always appreciate it. It's fun to talk to everybody, read your comments, and hear everybody's opinions. And just thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Yeah, definite thank you. You guys, there have been times where we're like, oh, I don't want to go on, but
Yep.
you guys make it for us. When we
Yeah.
come on, we see you guys in here chatting and having a good time.
We would do this regardless. And I mean, to me, I'm just talking to friends. So I know we would do it regardless of having people watch it, but it makes it a lot more interesting, a lot more fun.
Yep. So yes, thank you, and we will see you guys next week.
See you next week.